Welcome back to My Sports Compendium, and I've got mail, another Mailday video where I take my heavy duty Royal Mail bag, put my hand into the delights that are in it, pick a few out at random, and we just have a bit of a chat about them. Informal, good, clean family fun. All aided with my trusty craft knife, Amazon Basics. Not an ad. But anyway, here we go. First item on this mail day is going to be, again, that awkward first item where I don't have anything to speak about. I hope everyone is doing well today. These ones always scare me a bit because I don't know how to. I don't know where the point of focus is. I think I can feel the item in there. I don't want to be here all day opening up, but I also don't want to destroy the item. Item's safe. Let's see what it is. It's a Football 78 Jock Stein. Now, Jock Stein, I really like this item. Football 78 I really like as an album. It's got some really interesting stickers in it. But Jock Stein is a very famous Celtic manager famously of the Lisbon Lions, that incredible team, the first team from the British Isles to win the Champions League it is now, but the European Cup. And Stein was the manager of that. And yeah, just a great item. Nice, really nice portrait. And I really like the Football 78. I don't want to say too much about it because I know that at some point we're going to see a Football 78, my favourite sticker in the set, which to My Sports Compendium diehards, they may be able to remember I mentioned it in the Billy Bassett episode. But I don't think there are any My Sports Compendium diehards. Apart from my grandmother. So a shout out to her. Right, there we go. Let's open this one. Yeah, Jock Stein unfortunately passed away in the run-up to the 1986 World Cup when he was Scotland manager. And Alex Ferguson actually took over Scotland for that World Cup because they did it as an interim type manager. But here we go. What's in here? This is just a card, I think. Nothing in there. And that was the summer before Ferguson joined Manchester United. So, LFC ticket, this says. I don't know what this is. We may see some duplicates, and if they're duplicates, I'm just going to run over them really quickly. Because I do have a tendency to buy some things that are duplicates. But let's have a look. Oh, this is actually a really cool one. Here's me not being very excited about things, and then actually it's a really exciting one. Now this is the famous corner taken quickly. When Liverpool were, 3-0 down against Barcelona from the first leg, and then they went on. A Liverpool ravaged by injuries as well. Went on to beat Barcelona, inspired by Divock Origi, in the second leg 4-0, and set up their match against Spurs in Madrid, which was an atrocious final. Which is always that final, it's a sad irony because the circumstances of the two semi-finals were so exciting, and it's such a terrible final in Madrid. But this involved that famous corner taken quickly by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Divock Origi scored, a man for the big occasion, and Liverpool won 4-0. And this, I believe, is an unused. But just a great ticket. And Trent Alexander-Arnold does do signings a little bit. So I would love to get it signed by him and Divock Origi. That would be amazing. And there's a Tops Now card as well, I think. So yeah, one that I'm definitely in the look-up to complete the Triple Crown. I mean, obviously I'd rather such good fortune happen to a team other than Liverpool. But it's okay. Not a problem. So anyway, next item. Now my camera actually messed up on the last, the camera ran out, the battery ran out. So I opened another one. But let's see what's in here. Let's have a look. And, this is actually quite an interesting one as well. I feel like I say that all the time. This is a complete ticket to Spurs versus West Ham in 2013. And this is a match that West Ham won 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a match that featured an incredible goal by Ravel Morrison, whom, if you don't know, Ravel Morrison is a player that has been lauded as one of the most talented, if not most talented, players to come out of the Manchester United Academy. But for various reasons, partially out of his control, he was unable to fulfil his immense potential. This was a Morrison that came through with Pogba and Lingard and various other players in that 2011 FA Youth Cup team. But Morrison left Manchester United and went to West Ham in the Premier League, where he shone brightly for a very short period of time. But he scored this absolutely incredible goal against Tottenham, where he just went through basically the whole Spurs defence and secured an upset win for West Ham that day, which they enjoyed very much. I do always like it, and this may be something which I don't think I've ever really seen come up, even on the ticket group or ticket Discord. I always like it when the ticket as well is relevant to, as in it's the team that the moment happened to, if that's applicable. So say Gerrard's Olympiacos goal, I would love a Liverpool home ticket, even though they're more common. Especially one in front of the Kop, because obviously the Kop is the famous stand at Liverpool, and I like that this is a visitor's ticket for Morrison's goal. So yeah, just a really, really great Premier League goal. And Ravel is someone, actually, if you've got a spare time, Ravel Morrison goes on Rio Ferdinand's podcast, and he speaks a bit about things, and it's just a really insightful to hear players that don't necessarily fulfil their potential, some of the things they have to deal with, and I'd really recommend it. Now, this is not fixed. This was not fixed, but this links so well to Jock Stein, because this is a European Cup final 1967 ticket, which was a match between Internazionale, Inter Milan, and Glasgow Celtic that resulted in a 2-1 win for Celtic. And they became, as I mentioned earlier, the first team from the British Isles to win the European Cup. Now, this ticket is pretty in not great condition, as you can tell. It's been stapled. It looks a bit like Frankenstein's monster, but this is, from my experience, and I'm not like a huge Champions League, European Cup final ticket collector, but 1967 is one that I'd wanted for quite some time. This ticket's quite hard to find. I don't really know why. But Celtic, it took place in Lisbon, and Celtic became known as the Lisbon Lions because it was insane. Practically the whole team, and I do have a plan to do a bit more in a proper, more detailed video on it. This team, basically the whole squad, they were all Scottish, but the whole squad came from within like a few miles of Celtic's ground, which I just find absolutely incredible. It was like the class of 92 on steroids, and they were just an amazing team, homegrown players. It was easier back then to have homegrown players, admittedly, but still just an amazing story to have so many players to then go and win the biggest prize in European football altogether. Just a really interesting, and there's a few books actually that I've got that I'm working my way, well, I'm going to work my way through on the Lisbon Lions. I don't want to say too much about the stories and stuff now, because I have got a plan to do a actually detailed video on Lisbon Lions, which I'm just working out exactly what I want to do with it. But yeah, and for all intents and purposes, they played like really exciting football as well. Jock Stein played really aggressive football, really prioritising the wing backs. Manchester United versus Blackburn Rovers, 25th of August 1996. Now, this is a match that was a 2-2 draw. You know, I'm going to leave that in there. But this was a match where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came off the bench to score on his debut for Manchester United. So it's, you know, a bit of a low impact ticket in some ways. You know, Solskjaer obviously has, in my opinion, slightly better tickets. Say the Nou Camp 99, not a bad one. But that's not necessarily a Solskjaer ticket, but I really like his Nottingham Forest away, 4 goals. But this is a nice one to complete the set if you like Solskjaer. And just a great player for Manchester United. One of those players that didn't really moan too much, at least on the outside, about not being in the team all the time when he was incredibly talented. And yeah, just a huge part of that treble-winning squad as well, scoring the most important goal in Manchester United's recent history at least. So anyway, another Manchester United ticket, and this one, I've done a video on this. I will pick them up if I see them. This is the Helen Gray match. Just check out my video on the Helen Gray. But this is the match where Manchester United played in their grey shirt for the first half, were 3-0 down at half time. And then Ferguson was so incensed by their performance and put it all on the kit that they came out for the second half in their blue and white. I've done a video for it as part of my Bazaar series in which I discuss a few other things from that month. But yeah, just another good Premier League ticket. And as I mentioned in that video, well, you know what? Go and watch it. Go and watch it. It's like all of these are linked, these ones. And this is a really shuffled one. But this is Football 78. Now, this is all from Football 78. And this is a lot of Football 78 West Brom stickers. Let me get this off. And there's a reason why. And in the Billy Bassett episode, I mentioned some iconic footballers who came through the ranks. Well, actually, this guy didn't really come through the ranks at West Brom. He came through the ranks at Leyton Orient. But he rose to prominence at West Brom. And there are 2 interesting players in this lot. Alistair Brown, David Cross, Mick Martin and John Osborne. I can't say I know too much about, but I will look them up in due course to see if there's anything interesting. Well, I'm sure there is something interesting about them. They've all played professional football in the first division, which is far more exciting than anything I've ever done in my life. But Willie Johnston is a Scottish winger who, there's actually a really funny Willie Johnston story where he arranged to buy a greenhouse whilst playing a football match with a player, with a fan watching. He arranged the purchase of a greenhouse for his garden. So that's always quite an interesting story that I like hearing. I can't find a ticket for that match, but if anyone has it, then please let me know. I'd be very interested. But then the sticker I want from this set is Laurie Cunningham. Now, this is Laurie Cunningham's rookie sticker from Football 78, sticker number 343. And Laurie Cunningham was one of those players that enters into the psyche of a lot of English football fans, or a lot of English, because he had so much personality. He loved dancing. He wasn't particularly laddish, and he was an incredible winger. He became the first £1 million player for Real Madrid, became known as the Black Pearl, was unfortunately beset by loads of injuries during his time at Real Madrid. He was one of the first black players to play for England, was also, as part of that iconic group at West Brom called the 3 Degrees with Brendan Batson and Cyril Regis. But Laurie Cunningham was probably the star of that, and just a really iconic player, and someone who is still spoken about today. Tragically, he died at the age of 33 in a car crash in Spain, which is really, really just truly tragic. And I even follow his son on Instagram now, actually, Sergio. But just Laurie Cunningham, and this card, it actually looks in really good condition. Actually, this one, I bought this one because my previous one you won't remember, but from the Bassett video, it has had some writing on the back. So yeah, I just really wanted to add that one. It's a shame that Batson and Regis aren't in Football 78, although actually Cyril Regis hadn't made his debut yet. Batson had joined, I think, the following season. So it's Football 79 that they're all in, which is, I think, really interesting and really cool. But yeah, this is Laurie Cunningham's rookie, or one of them. He's got an FKS sticker as well. But yeah, just an incredible player for all intents and purposes. And he's a player that I also try and collect his cards and stickers when I see them. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this Mailday video. Another real mix. We've seen some Football 78. We've seen the corner taken quickly. Lisbon Lions, Helen Gray, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then, rounded off with a discussion on the great Laurie Cunningham. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Check out some of my other videos as well, some slightly more structured ones on the Premier League, some other ones, and also my podcast Desert Island Slabs, where I invite a collector on each week to discuss their favourite 8 items in their collection. But thank you and goodbye.